Hello, my lovelies. It's Susanna, and today I want to show you how to solve this problem. The symbols square and triangle represent integers. Integers are numbers like 1, 2, 3, and so on, but also the 0 and -1, -2, and so on. It is given that square squared minus triangle squared is equal to 37. Determine the value of square squared plus triangle squared. We get these possible answers. Cannot be determined is actually one of them, so let's keep this in mind that this is actually a possibility. And maybe let's replace the square by x and the triangle by y so that we can write this equation as x squared. Let's write it down here. X squared minus y squared is equal to 37. And we want to find this expression here, what would be x squared plus y squared then. So if we can find x and y, we can find our expression here in the end. But we only get this one equation, and we have two variables in here. But we keep in mind that x and y are integers. That should help us. Okay, what can we do here? On the left side, we have a difference. On the right side, we just have a number. But here on the left side, we have x squared minus y squared. So this is a difference of squares, which allows us to write this left side here in a different way. We can write a difference of squares as a product of two parentheses. On the right side, we still have the 37, but on the left side, we're going to have a product. And in the first parentheses, we're going to have the x from here plus the y from here. And in the second parentheses, we're going to have the x, but this time a minus the y. Okay, so now on the left side, we have a product. And because x and y are integers, x plus y, what we have here, is also going to be an integer. And the same thing here. X and y are integers. If I subtract two integers, I get another integer again. So we multiply two integers here on the left side. Can we also write the right side here as a product of two integers? Well, 37 is a prime number. So there are not many possibilities to write the 37 as a product of two numbers. It is 1 times 37. This is because 37 is a prime number. So for these numbers on the left side, which possibilities do we have here then to get 37? Well, one of the possibilities is that my first number here is a 1. And my second number here is a 37. But I could also switch these two numbers. So maybe the first number here is the 37. And then I multiply it by the second number, which has to be a 1 then. Are these all possibilities? We work with integers here. So we also have negative numbers. To get 37, we could also multiply two negative numbers. We could have -1 times -37, which would be positive 37. And if we switch these two numbers and we start with the -37, we could also multiply this then by -1. These are all the possibilities we have to multiply two integers and get a result of 37. And we have to take a look at these 4 cases here now to find our solutions for x and y. So the first case is that my first number, my x plus y, is going to be equal to 1. And my second number, my x minus y, is going to be equal to 37. The first case gives me a first system of equations with two equations, two variables, so we can solve the system of equations for x and y. But we have more cases. So the second case, here we have our first number, our x plus y, is going to be equal to 37 in this case. And my second number, my x minus y, is going to be equal to 1. The same things with the third and the fourth case. I don't want to write all these system of equations down right now, but let's start with the first case. Let's take our first system of equations and let's solve this for x and y. Okay, in the first equation, we have x. In the second equation, we have x as well. So we could subtract both equations to get rid of x. That's a possibility. Or if we want to get rid of y, because we have plus y in here and minus y in here, we could also just add these two numbers to get rid of y. Whatever you prefer, adding is usually a little bit easier, so let's add these two equations to get rid of y here. We have x plus x, which is equal to 2x, y plus minus y cancels out. And on the other side, we have 1 plus 37, which is 38. To solve for x, let's get rid of the 2 by dividing both sides of the equation by 2, so that this cancels out here and only x is left, and 38 over 2 is equal to 19. We found a solution for our x. And to find y, we can take our x and maybe insert it here in the first equation, so that we have, instead of the x, we can write the 19 now plus y, and this is equal to 1. To solve for y now, let's get rid of the 19 here by subtracting 19 on both sides of the equation, so that it cancels out here and only y is left, and 1 minus 19 is equal to negative 18. We just found solutions for x and y, but let's keep these solutions in mind because this was just the first case. We have more cases to take a look at, so let's go to the second case and let's solve this system of equations now. It's very similar, but not the same. So we have y here again and negative y here again, so we can add these two equations again, so that we have x plus x, which is 2x, the y cancels out, and on the other side we have 37 plus 1 is 38. To solve for x, same thing, let's get rid of the 2. Let's divide both sides by 2, so that x is equal to 19. Okay, let's find our y by taking the x and inserting it into the first equation. So instead of the x, we have a 19 plus y, and this is equal to 37. To solve for y, let's get rid of the 19 again. We subtract 19 on both sides, so that this cancels out and the y is left. And here this time 37 minus 19 is equal to 18. So we found another solution for x and y, but let's keep going because we have a third case to take a look at. Same thing, we still have y and negative y in here, so let's add these two equations again. X plus x is 2x, this cancels out. Okay, negative 1 plus negative 37, so we have negative 1 minus 37, which is equal to negative 38. And to solve for x, we divide by 2 here again, so that this cancels out, only x is left, but this time we get a negative result of 38 over 2 equals negative 19 then in total for our x. So let's insert it again into the first equation here. Instead of x, we this time have negative 19 plus y, and on the other side we have negative 1. To solve for y, this time we add 19 on both sides so that this cancels out and only y is left. And here, negative 1 plus 19 is equal to 18 then for our y. And we keep all these solutions in mind, but we have to take a look at one last case. Very similar, we want to get rid of our y, so let's add our two equations. We get 2x again on this side, and here negative 37 plus negative 1. So negative 37 minus 1 is negative 38. To solve for x, let's divide by 2 again, so that we get x is equal to negative 19 in this case. And to find our y, let's take this solution and insert it here again. We get negative 19 plus our y is equal to negative 37 this time. Let's solve one last time for y by adding 19 on both sides of the equation. This cancels out and we get a result of negative 37 plus 19 is equal to negative 18 for our y. So let's take all these solutions we've just found here. These are all the different solutions for these 4 cases. What was it we wanted to find again in the end? This expression here. So we wanted to find x squared plus y squared. So let's see what it would be in the first case. X was 19, so we would take the 19 and square it, plus take the negative 18 and square it. And if we calculate this now, 19 squared is equal to 361, and negative 18 squared is going to be positive, and 18 squared is 324. So if we add these numbers, we get 685, which is answer C. But the question is, this was just the first case. What happens in all these other cases? Well, let's check. Second case. If we insert the 19 for our x, we have 19 squared as well. And this time the y is not negative 18, but positive 18. Does this make a difference? No, because we square this number in the end anyway. So the sign doesn't matter at all. We get the same result in the end. And here in the third case, we don't have the 19, but a negative 19, which also doesn't change anything because we square this number. So we have 18 and 19 here, positive and negative the entire time. So in all 4 cases, we get C as a result. I'm curious how you solve this problem, so please let me know in the comments. I wish you a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in one of my next videos. Take care!